I just finished up my first batch, and today I'm going to show you how to make some different fish meal type boilies. These ones I already ran through the gun. They're 20 millimeter. You can see here I got about maybe, I don't know, 8-9 pounds. And then underneath I just hand rolled a bunch. They're huge. They're probably like 24 millimeters. Usually what I do, I try to make a bunch of large ones just to chum out, pulls in the big fish, and then I'll have a bunch of different hook baits and just bait the chum out while I'm fishing. So I'm going to show you how to make this one. This mix rolls a lot better than my last one. My last one turns out really stiff. This one's a little softer. It's a little bit more gun friendly as well. So let's get started with this one. This is just going to be a simple kind of mix. There's a few better ingredients in it, but it has like my standard base in it with soy, semolina, cornmeal, and then ground birdseed. And I'm going to start off showing you how I grind my birdseed. So let's get started. Okay, our first order of business, I have to take some birdseed and grind it down. This is going to be extremely loud, just so you know. Okay, just got done blending my birdseed. Pop the top off here. Let's see, I have a good amount there. So the camera can see that. I have a good amount there of basically flour now. And that'll be part of my base mix. Okay, the next step here. Okay. The next step here, I'm using 44 eggs, blended, shell and all. I'm not going to bore you with all of them because if you watch my last video, you can see what I did there. Basically I put them in, break them up with a knife just so they blend a little easier. Keep adding some in here. Just pulse it a few times, that way you know the shell off the bottom raises up and crushes. Then I just have a bowl down here and I'll empty that into. I'll finish these up and then we'll be right back. Okay, I just finished up doing all my eggs in that big bowl, or the big pan there. And they were all large eggs, by the way, 44 of them. Right now we're going to zoom in to the right. We have our Robin Red liquid, Trout Halibut Oil, we have some Crayfish Essence, and also we have the Green Lipped Mussel Extract, and below that the Spirulina. And those are going to be some of our ingredients that we're going to add into the liquid egg. I'm going to show you that right now in the quantities. Okay, first thing I'm going to do, Green Lipped Mussel Extract from CC Moore, 1 tablespoon of that. And make sure you just don't dump it right in, just spread it around. Just kind of sprinkle it around, that way it'll start to dissolve into the egg mix. Second thing we're going to do is spirulina. This will add a nice color, darken it up some, and it's highly attractive for the fish. Again, 1 tablespoon, and just sprinkle that around so it begins to dissolve. You don't want to just throw it in because it's just going to be a giant clump on the bottom. Okay, next we got the new Robin Red liquid. We're going to be doing 3 tablespoons, which is 45 mLs. Make sure all that comes out of the spoon there, that way you're not wasting any. Okay, we're going to do 30 mLs of Trout Halibut Oil. This helps in aiding the rolling process, plus it is attractive for the fish. Get the lid off here. Also, make sure you shake this. Sometimes the oil separates a little bit. Okay, 30 mLs of that, so 2 tablespoons. This is going to make probably about 15 to 20 pounds of boilies. This works really good in the spring. I always like fishy baits in the spring. The fish just come out of hibernation pretty much, and they get on the feed. They're looking for a good source in the lake, such as crayfish, mussels, clams. So this is going to be a really good mix for them to attract to. And then finally, 5 mLs of Monster. It's actually a Crayfish Ultra Essence Crayfish. Also use a crab flavoring that they do also, but crayfish is pretty nice in the spring. This is really strong, that's why I'm only doing 5 mLs. As soon as you open the bottle, you can really smell that. So obviously don't do that around the wife or in the kitchen. She probably won't like you afterwards. Okay, next thing, all we gotta do, mix this with a spoon. And make sure everything is dissolving well, like the spirulina, green lipped mussel. Usually I let this rest for about maybe 5 minutes. Okay, we'll let that rest for about 5 minutes, and then we'll come back and I'll start doing the base ingredients. Okay, since my base was pretty much the same as the last video, I didn't want to bore you with weighing everything out. Okay, I'm doing 1 3/4 pound of soy flour, 1 3/4 pound of cornmeal, 1 3/4 pound of the ground birdseed, and 2 1/4 pound of semolina flour. Now we're going to start on our fish meal here. Just about have it finished. I'm going to do 1 3/4 pound of predigested fish meal from CC Moore, which is 1 pound 12 ounces. Okay, throw that in there. Okay, next one. All I did was take high protein fish pellets, ground them up with a hand grinder, actually a meat grinder, and we're going to weigh those out. That's going to be 1 1/4 pound of those. These are a lot denser, so this should be weighed out pretty quick. Okay, there we go. You can see kind of what that looks like there. Put that in the mix. Okay, we're doing a half a pound of kelp next. The crunchy kelp meal. Half a pound of that. So 8 ounces. Oops, did a little too much there. Okay, 8 ounces. And then we're going to do a 1/4 pound of blood plasma powder from CC Moore. This is a really fine ingredient. Okay, put just slightly too much in. Take a little out there. Still a little too much. Okay, and we'll put that in. Since that's such a fine ingredient, just make sure you hit the sides because there will be a lot of extra on there. Okay, and that is, double check my list here. I always write everything down, that way you're accurate. And I'll start to mix this up. Now, a lot of people put this in a bag, and that's fine, but since we're making over 10 pounds of this, it's a little bit hard to do. So all I do is take a spoon with holes in it, and I'm just going to work it around, mix all the ingredients together. I'll start just kind of rotating and pulling up on it, and I'll just keep doing that for as long as it takes till I can see everything's blended together. Make sure you go the whole way to the bottom. And keep in mind, this is going to be a little bit powdery, so don't do it too hard or you're going to get a lot of dust in the air. This will take probably about 5 minutes or so. So I'll just do like a time lapse so you can see the sped up version. Okay, everything is mixed really nice there. Everything's evenly blended. Takes about 5 minutes or so. Time to add that into our liquid ingredients now. Okay, time to put in our ingredients. Now, I've done this mix so many times, I know I could pretty much just dump this whole thing in, but what you want to do is slowly start out. Just put about 3/4 of it in and start to mix. Like I've said, I've made this mix so many times that I know this always works out pretty good. Okay. I start out with a spoon. Let me get my other spoon actually. Don't want the holes in that because everything will stick to it. And basically just kind of start to slowly stir everything around. It'll take a little bit till it starts to really absorb in. The end process, I'll get my hands in here and use those to really mold everything together. Doing it this way, you get a little bit better even distribution of the liquid, putting more in at once. Once you get a mix that really works for you, it should work every time consistently. This bait's going to come out like a real dark brown when it's all done. Make sure the sides are straight. Okay, I'm going to add the rest in now since it's just about mixed. Most people keep adding in until they find the consistency that they like, which is, you know, the right way to do it. But like I said, I've made this so many times that I know this will all work out perfect in the end. You can see it's starting to stiffen up pretty good. So I'm just about due to get my gloves here and really start to work it. Yeah, we're about at that stage right now. So let me get my gloves and I'll be right back. Okay, the only reason I'm using gloves is just because some of these smells are really strong, so that's going to absorb into your skin a little bit. Even if you wash your hands, it'll be there all day. That's the last thing you really want to be smelling all day. So let me scrape off the spoon. Basically, I'm just going to knead it like a dough. Just get your hands in. Just really start to work it. If you have a mixer, that's even better, but I just don't have the extra money to be buying a mixer. So do it by hand, do it the manual way. Make sure you go from the bottom up. That way you get any dry ingredients that settle to the bottom. As you can see, it's changing color now as the liquid absorbs in. You can also use like a drywall mixer. Just put on your drill and do this, but usually I just do it by my hands. You can see all the eggshells starting to really pop out in the dough mix now. Like I said, it's a nice crunch factor. Mimics kind of like when they eat a crayfish. They'll hear that sound from a distance. If there's one, then it'll track more into the area. Just a little trick I picked up over the years. Okay, here's a bunch of dry here. Let's put that on top here. I have a pot holder underneath here. It just helps that my pot stays in the same place so it doesn't slide everywhere. You can feel the dough starting to stiffen up pretty nice now. Get all this stuck to the bottom, that's still kind of wet. So I just want to make sure that's blended in. Should be ready before too long here. See, I have a giant thing of dough. See, it's not really sticking to my hands either. So that's the other thing too. How you know your mix is right. Sticking a little, but not too much. Make sure you scrape any shells off the bottom. I'll turn this around here. Okay, just about there. Okay, put a little elbow grease in it, and got a nice big ball of dough ready to go. It's always best to let this rest for a little bit. I'm actually going to put this inside of a garbage bag so it doesn't start to dry out as well. Okay, be right back after I do that. Okay, I only pull out as much dough as you're going to do at a time. That way the rest doesn't dry out. I'm going to break this in 2 sections here. Put a little semolina down and just kind of mold it just so you make sure everything's really condensed. We're going to put this on our gun here in a minute. Okay, got my gun here. Make it small enough here to go in. Okay. Put that in. And we'll put our nozzle in the front here. Compressor hooked up. It's best to put your finger over it just so it compresses the sausage. Kind of hold it there just so it keeps pressing down. Aim the camera down here. See that? Better to go slow so you don't get air bubbles. If you do it too fast, then you'll get extra air bubbles. Just back off the pressure if you feel it going too quick. Sometimes till you get it compressed nice. This just takes a little bit of time. You can see I had an air bubble here. So this just takes a little bit. I'll just do a few of these. This works a lot better if your mix is a little bit, not real dense. If it's too dense, it seems like you have to put the pressure up too high. Just back off the pressure, like I said, if you feel any air bubble, like there's one. Got a little bit of air in here. If you start getting air like that, just kind of push your finger over it again. That way it compresses it down. The first one's always the toughest. After that it goes a lot better. Okay, had a little bit too much air, so just made another sausage here. Loaded in the gun. And what I do, the one that's really compressed at the end, the stuff you have left over, just kind of roll it a little bit to make it a little bit smaller. It's already really condensed, so that will help you out when you first start out the gun. I'm rolling a 20 millimeter today. That's the only size I have for my table for now until I get another one. And we'll start this again here. Like I said, always put your finger here. That way it pushes it down. Compresses it as much as you can. Don't worry about the end being messed up because we can use that again later. And keep pressing on the back of it. That way it'll push it through nicely. Just go slow with it. Oh, got another air bubble there. It just takes a little bit to get used to the gun. I just got this, so this gun's different from my last one. Don't worry about if your sausages are only like a foot long either. If you keep getting a little air pressure. Okay, after adjusting my pressure, I finally got everything sorted out with my sausages. I'm using a spray canola oil. Just put a little bit on there. This allows it to roll a little bit better. Okay, we're doing 20 mil boilies. And I'll just put a few sausages on top here. Just so you can see how that's going to work. Basically just drop down the top, press down, there we go. Continue on with that. Until they're all done. That's how easy it is. And I have my little table here that's just going to roll down. And you might have like a piece that's messed up, but you can just hand roll that, it's not going to matter. Okay, and then I'll have it fall into my bin down here, and then we just have to boil them or steam them. Okay, you can see the boilies just came to the top. I'm just going to take them out now, put them in another pan. That way the water absorbs in also. Just be careful because this is boiling water. Well, it was anyhow. Have to bring it back up to heat again here. Get those all out so they don't overcook. Alright. Put the lid back on here. Okay, basically you can see change color a little bit. Look really nice though. Obviously they're going to be spongy. I don't want to touch them because they're really hot right now. I'll let those sit, then I'll transfer them onto my air dry racks. Just finished up my last batch. Gonna pull the lid off. Let's see, we got a good hard boil there. Then I got my strainer. My one pot here. Try to turn that a little bit. I'll show you the water in a minute. You can see a lot of the flavor and stuff comes out when you boil it. A lot of times I'll steam baits. I think that works a lot better because you're not losing all your additives, or decreasing them I should say. Go ahead and take these out, and then I'll show you all the other ones I made. These are my huge ones obviously, and these are going to be for chumming out, or I might just grind them up for PVA bags or break them in quarters. But making big ones is a lot easier than doing a ton of small ones, by hand anyhow. Okay, so here's the larger ones. See a good size on them. I'll show you the water here, just so you can see how much of the liquid comes out, like the fish meal and all that stuff. But I'll actually use this for particles. I'll dump it in my particles. That way you have all that boilie smell and additives into the particle. As you can see all around me, I have boilies. I have 2 trays on top of each other here. Got the large ones. Then underneath I have a majority of small ones. Those are going to dry for a couple days. And over here I have the larger ones. Those are the ones I just took out. Then I transfer them over into pans. That way they're not wet before I put them onto the air dry rack. Well, that concludes another video. Got all these great boilies here. As you can see, I made 2 batches actually. So keep that in mind. That first batch I showed you is not going to make this many. You're looking at about 15 to 20 pounds, depending on. You really have to weigh them out again, but this is good for a bunch of sessions here. And like I said, the large ones, I'm going to chum them up, break them up, get the fish active. And it doesn't take long. I actually made these 2 batches probably in 3 hours, somewhere around that time, 3 to 4, plus clean dishes and all that good stuff. But another simple to make mix. I know my beginning base mix with the soy semolina, that's just like almost like a filler type mix, but it's cheap and it does work. So, and then once you add all the additives, it really stands out. It's more of an instant bait than a long-term one. So thanks for watching another video. And in the future I'll be doing other videos that are a little bit more advanced in terms of the boilies. But these are my 2 favorite easy to make mixes. Thanks again for watching.